Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first Tech Tuesday session. We're thrilled that you're joining us today to learn about State Technical College. Bobby Orman from State Tech's admissions office is here and will be telling us all about State Tech in just a few minutes. First, though, we have several people from Special School District in North and South Tech High School joining us, and I'd like for everyone to introduce themselves. Mr. Andert?
I'm Kevin Andert, Executive Director of Career and Technical Education for Special School District. Really excited that everybody's able to join us today.
Okay, Ms. Russell?
Good afternoon. I'm Dee Russell. I'm the sophomore counselor at North Tech High School, and I'm so excited to be here today.
Okay, Ms. Shaughnessy?
Hi, my name is Carla Shaughnessy, and I'm one of the counselors for South Technical High School. There's some services I can provide for my students as assistance with a lot of career college planning, resume writing, interviewing, professionalism, post-secondary information and support. Of course, social emotional counseling and services, and then of course, miscellaneous. So anyway, so nice to be here.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bengali?
Hi, I'm Heidi Bengali, and I am a technology specialist instructor for North and South Technical High Schools.
Okay, and I am Sally Defani, Administrator of Partnerships for Special School District. Our Tech Tuesday sessions are going to take place every week at 2 o'clock. We will be featuring several different colleges and universities, as well as business and industry partners representing many different pathways. And we hope you'll be able to join us every week as a way to learn more about your post-secondary options. A schedule of our sessions was emailed to you yesterday, but feel free to ask your instructor for a schedule if you need one. They will have one for you. Also, we will be recording all of our sessions, and a link to these recordings will be made available to you. After Mr. Orman's presentation, we're going to do our best to answer any questions that you may have. So if you have questions as he's presenting, please feel free to type them into the YouTube chat feature. However, if you have a question that's specific to your individual application, I might recommend that you reach out to Mr. Orman directly after this session, and we will share his contact information with you as part of his presentation. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Mr. Orman, if you want to go ahead and share your screen and tell us all about State Tech, that would be great.
Absolutely, Sally. So it should be sharing. Just want to make sure here. Can you guys see it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So just to echo Sally, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for inviting me to be the very first Tech Tuesday speaker. It's an honor. I hope everyone is doing well. So my name is Bobby Orman. I am the regional admissions rep for State Technical College of Missouri for students in St. Louis and its surrounding counties. If you're not familiar with State Tech, which I hope all of you have at least heard of us, we are Missouri's only two-year premier technical public college. So we offer Associates of Applied Sciences degrees in a huge variety of different technical education areas with over 35 different programs for you students to choose from. If at any point you guys have questions, please feel free to drop those into the live chat, and we will get those answered as promptly as possible. But I do want to try and stay on track with our presentations so that we have time at the end for a Q&A. Just a little bit of background info about State Tech. Our campus is located in Lynn, Missouri. So we're about 3 hours east of Kansas City, about 2 hours west of St. Louis, and about an hour southeast of Columbia. We are kind of right in the heartland of the state. Oh, pardon the cat. Of course, we have a very small campus population. Right now, we're sitting at about 1,900 students for the fall of 2020, and we're expecting that to go up to right about 2,000, if not a little bit over, for fall of 2021. 1 second here. So something that you'll hear about State Tech very often, we like to say it as loudly as possible and as proudly as possible, is that we are the employer's choice. So what that means is we do a lot to partner with industry and partner with employers to make sure that our students have jobs either before they are graduated or after graduation. Our job placement rate for students is 99%, and that is within 6 months after graduating. But truth be told, many students have positions even before their graduation date. And that's the average across all of our different programs. As I already mentioned, we have 35 different programs of study within the advanced and emerging technical fields. And what's really great about us as a public institution is that we are an A+ eligible school. So not only can you go directly into relatively high paying careers, like after a 2-year education, you can do it for relatively little cost. So A+ is an awesome scholarship program for Missouri residents, if you are not aware, and it covers 2 years standard tuition and fees. So there are some things that A+ does not cover in that. And usually I would ask you all, what are those, just to keep us engaged, but through the virtual format, I'll just list them for you. Those are tools, books, food, and housing. So there are some incremental costs associated with your education, with a lot of those, like your tools and books being basically things you add to your repertoire that you'll use in your career more often than not. So for those out-of-pocket costs, we are a regionally accredited institution. So students can use any type of traditional financial aid, whether that be scholarships, grant money, subsidized or unsubsidized loans, as well as any GI Bill benefits that the student might be eligible for to pay for their education. So one of the things that we really like to pat ourselves on the back about is our national rankings and I guess national recognitions. So Wallet Hub actually this year, there was just an article in the paper has again ranked us the best 2-year college in the country. And that's out of, I believe, 600 to 800 2-year colleges. Forbes has us ranked as number 3. Zippia has us listed as the best college in Missouri for getting a job. And Bankrate has us as one of the top 10 community colleges in the country. Really, all of those different metrics measure different data points to place us in those various categories, but it's really a combination of our students' debt to income ratio when they graduate and our job placement. Another fun fact as far as statewide rankings is we also just last year passed over another 4-year college, and we have the highest graduation rate of any college in the state of Missouri. So moving on, just to kind of give you a heads up about how our presentation is structured, and just so you're kind of aware of how things are gonna move from point to point, is I have all of our programs separated across 8 divisions. And as we go through, you'll see the primary division title at the top of the slide, and then the various programs within that division underneath it. We're not gonna have enough time to really go in depth about over all of our programs. So if there are any programs that I didn't really go more detailed in that you have questions about, or that you're kind of interested in, please feel free to contact me directly with my contact information that we'll display at the end of our presentation here. Otherwise, feel free to check out our website, www.statetechmo.edu, and I will send a link for an information request as well, if possible, to the recording, so that you guys can just click directly on that to request more info. Another thing that I want to mention too is that some of these programs, because of the nature of the programs and the content that the students study within the program and the equipment that they work on, they're going to have some overlapping divisional areas. And so you might see some programs multiple times. So our first program is agriculture, which is, it contains some of our more popular programs. Our first program is our Commercial Turf and Grounds program. Those of you that might be familiar with this program might know of like the wall of fame that exists. If you've ever toured our campus for Commercial Turf and Grounds, you've probably seen it. We've had students intern all across the country. One of our students, oh gosh, just a few years back, interned with the Boston Red Sox and ended up working a couple of World Series games because they flew him back out to Boston to do those. And that was on an internship that he had in the program. The beauty of Commercial Turf and Grounds, though, is that jobs within that field are available all across the country. Golf courses, athletic turf for high schools or professional teams, landscaping companies, lawn care, malls. There are huge job availabilities that aren't necessarily the flashy, glamorous ones that students can find fulfilling career placement in. Generally, with our Commercial Turf and Grounds program, we encourage that students who really like to be outdoors go into that program. Probably 50 to 75% of that program is spent out working in soil, working with plants and agronomy. Let me see here. So our Power Sports Technology program is another one of our programs. That's basically any small engine, motorcycles, motor scooters, ATVs. They also cover marine and some like ag and commercial turf equipment. Basically all terrains is what our Power Sports program works on. It's a great program, especially if you're like a motocross hobbyist or you really like small engine bikes, anything like that. Our ag and turf equipment option is kind of a sub program. It's a certificate program within that blends our commercial turf program and our Power Sports program, giving students some small engine repair training without requiring the full degree. Our MFA Custom Applicators program, chances are, so when I started in my position here as the regional admissions rep, I'd heard of MFA, but didn't really know what it is. Chances are you've maybe seen some like MFA gas stations. They are a pretty large ag corporation within the Midwest. And so MFA does a lot of the commercial spraying that you'll see for large farms and even non-large farms. So commercial pesticide dispersal. So the general technology program was actually built as a partnership with MFA to make sure that they had the required skilled workforce necessary to spray and keep us all fed. So the sprayers, you've probably seen them. They're like the giant, you'll see like giant armed equipment, usually during planting, so in the spring. That program covers some, like maintenance for that equipment. Basically, they want the applicators to be able to run the equipment. They will receive their Class 3 FDA approved pesticide applicators license as they go through the program, which is, just one thing that makes the graduate more marketable. And they also want to make sure that the student has some mechanical background so that if there's an issue while they're out in the field, they don't need to call a service tech to come, 4 miles out, if not further, to repair that issue. Obviously, an important part of the program too is knowing your limits, since you wouldn't necessarily be a mechanic, and knowing when you need to outsource that to somebody that's a specialist, but at the very least you can make repairs to get it closer to the primary mechanic for that equipment. What's awesome about the MFA program is MFA offers scholarships for students going into that program. They can cover up to the full tuition cost of the program. And then last but not least is our business program, which is, I'll talk about a little bit later, but it is a specialty for students that maybe want to work within an agricultural industry setting. So next up, our business programs. Going to be very brief on these, but office and project management, accounting, They will talk about Microsoft Office suites, basically anything that you would need to either work as an office manager, or if you as a graduate of the automotive program here at State Tech wanted to stay for an additional year, get a technical specialty diploma within business, that's going to provide you with some background on stuff that you need to consider if you want to eventually open up your own shop. So marketing, maintaining proper bookkeeping, management information systems, so customer databases, employee databases, and making sure that you're following best practices for those to run and operate an effective small business. So that's a really great, the technical specialty options are kind of a subgrouping for our students who, you know, they want that's their primary goal, is to run their own business, or, you know, they have a really strong background in the technical side. They want to go delve into that more, but they also want to make sure that they have a more well-rounded education that allows them a little bit of versatility on if they wanted to move into more administrative or managerial roles. And the accounting option, it's basically the same. It is going to fall within that overarching business administration category or division. So our construction options. One thing that we get asked often is if we have a building and trades program. At the moment, we do not, but we do have a lot of alternative, really great programs that students can pursue if the construction field is the field that they want to work in. So our civil construction technology and our civil engineering technology programs, that covers everything from land surveying, materials testing, how to write up cost estimates or bidding for any type of public proposal, inspections, drafting. They also will cover, generally what I like to say is that anything to do with civil technology is going to do, kind of breaking the word down, anything that deals with civilization. So roads, buildings, bridges. We have a really awesome 2+1 dual major opportunity for students that want to get 2 associate's degrees by the time they graduate, between our civil program and then the next program, or civil programs, and the next program I'm going to talk about, which is our drafting and design engineering technology program. So our drafting and design engineering program covers 5 different areas of drafting and design. And really they give students a general overview of each area and then specialize from there. So structural, architectural, civil. Oh, whoopsies, sorry about that. Civil and electrical. Go back to my notes here. I won't go into the specifics there, but really students are going to specialize more into a specific area when they get into their workforce, but we want to make sure that students have the baseline knowledge necessary to get hired within that field, or whichever specialty field that they go into, and be able to meet their employer's demands while working in that field initially. Our HVAC program is covers both commercial and residential, and I feel like HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Take a step back, and that covers installation, servicing, repair, diagnosing any issues of refrigeration, heating, and air conditioning systems. So those exist both within industrial settings, residential settings, and our students will cover both. Generally speaking, within the program, students will cover motors, controls, wiring, diagnostics, and repairs for those specific areas. And after the first year, students will have their EPA Universal certification. So lab full of live trainers, extremely hands-on. This program also goes into like heat pumps and some sheet metal fabrication for like duct work. Our heavy equipment operations program is going to be any type of large equipment or machinery and operating that. I have it listed there too. It's a certificate program, which means that it is not a full 2 years like our other associate's degree programs. It's going to be an 11-month program that starts in the summer. It's a really, really popular program. Gives students exposure and training on backhoes, excavators, dozers, scrapers, compactors, track loaders, wheel loader, motor grader, skid steer, Students also get their CDL within the program. It's a lot of outdoor work as well. So generally students with like an FFA, ag background, or construction background excel within that program. It's really, really important, and I can't stress this enough, for basically any programs that we offer that require CDLs, that you maintain a clean driving record. So keep moving on here. Our industrial electricity program, we have two separate options. For this option is our construction option. So basically any electrical work that you would work or that you may install within a construction capacity, or make sure like, inspect as far as like safety codes, blueprint reading, general code readings, transformers, electronics, motors, all of that, whatnot, within a construction capacity, so usually building. However, students can also go into electrical co-ops from this program. Within that program too, there is a required internship over the summer. Keep moving on so I don't go over time. So our electronics and computer technologies programs, these are all programs that are going to be housed in the building directly behind me. That's probably my background's going a little crazy. That's the ITTC. So starting from the top, our business digital marketing option, that's going to, in addition to the other business programs, cover some digital marketing skills. So like the Adobe software suites. Our computer application development program is based computer programming. So COBOL, C#, HTML, CSS, SQL or SQL, PHP, Java and JavaScript, Apple app development. I say this jokingly because I fit this category. I didn't study computer programming myself, but have a love for it and all things computers. It's the programming side, it's the nerdy side of all things computers. And it's an excellent field, great job placement rate within the program. Students can kind of go anywhere, both with this and any of our other programs within the computer fields. So networking systems technology being the other one. I always like to make the analogy that the federal government generally requires bachelor's degrees for anyone that wants to work within the federal setting. So State Department, CIA, FBI, except for in information technology fields. So generally speaking, an associate's degree will be enough, or any type of like professional experience within the field will be enough to satisfy the federal hiring rates. But generally speaking, you're probably going to start out making less money. So it's just speaks to the high need of that specific, of all of our computer and digital technology fields. Within our drafting and design program, I'd already mentioned the electrical portion of that. Our electronics program covers all things circuit grade electronics. As far as hardware, that can range from like a medical defibrillator to computer chips, circuit boards, biomedical electronics, satellite communications electronics, programmable logic controllers, basically all things AC, DC, not the rock band, but the actual electrical components. Semiconductors, microcontrollers, Arduinos. There is some programming in the program, Python and Arduino programming for like Raspberry Pis, but it's a great wide arching field to go into. One thing I love and like to always mention about our electronics program, because it's such a nationally recognized institution, is, at our career fair last year, Los Alamos National Laboratories was present. So that's the national laboratories that was associated with the Manhattan Project down in New Mexico, looking for our E-Tech students. So kind of going along with that national recognition, that's just kind of a little fun fact. I kind of already talked about the biomedical option. Our networking program is basically computers talking to one another, building up information systems, working as administrators. Sometimes students, you'll start maybe as a help desk attendant, but you're going to progress from there, receive certifications within the field, and providing students a baseline for continuing their education or specialization within a specific type of system for industry. Industrial and advanced manufacturing. So this includes our drafting and design, HVAC, kind of already touched on those. Our industrial electricity, this is our automated controls option. So programming PLCs, running conveyors, palletizers, hydraulic conveyors, using sensors to efficiently manufacture products. We manufacture, I think it's like 3 times as much today than we did in 1980 with half the workforce, and that's because of automation. So being able to troubleshoot when equipment is not working correctly and fixing that, as well as installing new automation systems, it's all robotics. Sorting by weight and making sure those sensor systems are inputting correctly, so on and so forth. Our precision machining technology program is the next program. Basically, all things metal and manufacturing were probably made by a machinist. There are huge job availabilities for machinists with really, really high salaries. I always like to say machinists and precision machining technology is probably the program that's most important that you've never heard of. It's kind of the starting point for any type of advanced manufacturing. I'll continue for the sake of time. Our welding technology program, we have a brand new 10,000 square foot building, 44 booths with all brand new Lincoln Electric welding equipment. We train on aluminum, carbon, or we train students to weld on aluminum, carbon steel, stainless steel, tubing, and pipe. We also do some robotic arm welding and programming, some Lincoln plasma table, CNC programming, hoisting, rigging. We want our students to have a well-rounded picture of welding. I know how to weld, not good at it. I know how to weld. I couldn't look at materials or look at blueprints and go and weld it correctly. So that's one thing that I like to differentiate. We're not just teaching our students how to be good welders. A lot of our students with backgrounds in welding are probably pretty good already, but we want them to have a full understanding of what they are doing within the process. You know, maybe going on from just welding a bead all day and working as like a foreman or a manager, doing weld tests or strength tests for their peers. Within that program, gas tungsten arc welding, shielded metal arc welding, gas metal arc, submerged arc, and flux core welding are all taught within the program. Next up, health sciences. Won't go too specifically. The most important thing that you can know about health sciences is that they're really, really competitive. So we have nursing, both the first year, so the LPN program, and the RN option, dental assisting, which is going to be a 1-year certificate, our medical radiologic technology, so x-rays and any type of visual equipment, and our physical therapy assisting program. Here's some additional healthcare options that I've already touched on, and nuclear we will get to. Some of our most popular programs are our transportation and mechanics programs. So automotive collision, bodywork and repair, automotive collision, automotive technology, and its 4 different specialization areas. Our aviation maintenance program, we have the only aviation maintenance program in the state of Missouri. Heavy equipment technology, so that's going to be the mechanics side of heavy equipment, so heavy, large diesel equipment. We have our CAT dealer service technician program with our partnerships with Fabic and Foley, our medium heavy truck technology program, and our power sports technology program, like I had already touched on. And last up within our divisions is our utilities technology programs. So one of the execs for Ameren is actually on our overall executive board. So we do a really good job partnering with our public service co-ops within Missouri. Our electrical distribution systems program is our lineman program. So anything above and some below ground dealing with electrical systems, that's what they do. Safety is hugely important for all of these programs. Our lineman program has a hard application deadline of December 5th. Our health sciences also have a priority application date for December 5th. Just letting you know that now, so I don't forget later. In addition to our EDS program, electrical power generation technology is just an add-on if students wanted to dual major. Our nuclear programs deal with nuclear power plant operations as well as like safety. And those are 3 differently listed programs, and they're really options under our overarching nuclear programs options. And our utility systems technology program deals with all things non-electric. They still do some training, they still have the CDL class, but they would do with fiber, wastewater, water, and there are some other ones that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. So,
Start your career with the hands-on education at State Tech. Hands that fix. Hands that heal. Hands that build. Find out firsthand why State Tech is ranked the best college in the country. From the classroom to your career, we are the employer's choice. We are State Tech.
So just a fun little video, break up the monotony of the PowerPoint. Here's our campus. We've got a new utility systems building going in kind of in the back there, 360 acres, about 500,000 square feet of educational space. All of our labs are state of the art. We just recently acquired the Sage County Country Club. We also use AJA grading, the AJA grading system for all of our programs, which is 3 grades that are transcripted for students. They're academic grades, their job readiness grades, as well as attendance grades. So it's really something that's unique to us that employers can look at and be like, okay, I know this person was in their chair every day, ready for class. I know they're going to be reliable when I hire them. And it adds something to students' repertoire for when they are out seeking jobs. We also have free tutoring for all of gen ed classes, as well as all of the different lab spaces listed there. Oh, wrong way. Activity centers, free for students, just some fun activities. There's a lot of stuff to occupy your free time in Lynn. It's a small community, but there's almost always programmed activities that students can participate in, intramurals, social nights, esports teams, and so on, concerts, events, programmed throughout the semester to keep students occupied and when they're not studying or in classes. Let me see here. We also have something that's unique, an indoor archery and air rifle range. For on-campus housing, the most important takeaway is we have 144 beds on campus. So not enough to meet our student population. The majority of our students live off campus. That said, our on-campus housing fills up very, very quickly. Generally a year and a half in advance is when we recommend students apply for when they're wanting to start. Each room is furnished with 2 beds for 2 student residents, private bathrooms, laundry facilities that are free for students, and full-size kitchen and student lounge space is available in the main commons section. That includes, on-campus housing includes all your typical local phone, internet, bathroom space, amenities, all that good stuff. So steps on how to apply, you can find that there, or you can reach out to me with questions. It's free to apply and it takes like 5 to 10 minutes. So really no time at all. We try not to harass you with emails or communications. We understand you guys are getting a lot of those more than likely right about now, / moving into the final semester of your senior year / junior year. So still apply just so you can get reminders for important deadlines for your specific programs. We require you submit education records or test scores. And then there's some additional items that are going to be dependent on whatever specific program you're applying for. Last but not least, here are just some fun pictures to see parts of campus. And if you want to visit campus, we are still offering individual campus visits, campus tours, as well as our fall open house, which is October 17th, Saturday, so you don't have to miss virtual classes. Definitely come and visit campus if you can. It's a really great way to see if we are the right fit for you and to make sure that you're the right fit for us. So definitely schedule a visit. Just some fun program pictures. Here is the general contact information for the admissions office. So for a lot of those supplemental items like your education records, if you are looking for where you need to email those to, email those to, I don't know why I'm pointing this way, to that email, or you can also send those directly to me or send any questions directly to me. So I think we'll open it up to questions now. That's all I have for you as far as presentations. I went over my time a little bit there, Sally, sorry.
That's okay. There was a lot of really great information. Ms. Shaughnessy, are there any questions that students have asked in the chat?
I don't see any posted, but any student that has a question, please feel free to go ahead and type that. And meanwhile, I'm going to bring up a couple of other questions. If I can find where I saved those. So one question is, what would be the typical class size?
Yeah, it's going to vary depending on your program. Generally speaking, for your lab classes, those are going to range anywhere from 15 to 25, if not smaller. For some of your lecture or general education classes, those might be a little bit bigger, anywhere from like 25 to 30. But we do try to keep those smaller. We don't really have any lecture halls on campus. For the most part, our students really excel in like hands-on, time-on-task styles of education. We know that about our students. So they don't do as well in like large group lecture style general education classes. So we don't schedule those. Yeah. I feel like that answers your question.
Another question is, are you allowing interested students to visit during this time of COVID and quarantining?
Yeah, so we are. There are some measures, and actually we do have measures in place. So social distancing is observed. Some lab locations may be off limits when you come to visit per like instructor or faculty requests. We are requiring students wear masks, though we do provide those for when you come to visit. And then we are limiting visits to the student and one guest. Sometimes, if both parents really feel as if they need to be there, we will make some exceptions kind of on a case-by-case basis. But that would be something you could reach out and contact me to arrange.
Okay, I think we might have time for about one more question.
Are there opportunities for internships or employment while also being a student?
Yes. So, yeah, absolutely. Not something that I talked about when going over each specific program, but almost all of our programs have built-in internships into their curriculum. So what that means is that students will arrange those internships with their faculty, or students will arrange those internships themselves and kind of clear them with faculty. Each program is a little bit different. Those are generally going to be paid internships. Let me see here. During our career fair, so we have our career fair every year. That's an opportunity for students to go and network, both second-year students for full-time jobs and first-year students for their internships. For most of our programs, the internship option is going to be available that summer in between their first semester, their first year of classes and their second year of classes. Each program's a little bit different, but with each of those internships, if it's required within the curriculum, in addition to the internship, there are some like online course requirements that students have to complete as well as they go through their internships, like reflection hours, stuff like that. So they're getting college credit for those internships.
Okay, thank you. So students participating, if you have additional questions, you can reach out to your guidance counselors in your guidance offices or out to Mr. Orman directly to get those questions answered. I also want to mention for the students who are with us, if your teacher asked you for a code to show that you participated in today's session, the code is State Tech 2020. So if you're asked for a code showing that you participated by your teacher, the code is State Tech 2020. I want to thank Mr. Orman for joining us today. It was really a lot of fantastic information that I know will help our students with their post-secondary planning. I want to thank our panelists, and I also want to thank our students who joined us today. Okay, so I guess we are going to go ahead and conclude our session. Take care.